So this is Hillary Plauche here, and over here I have my light side, and over here I have my dark side. Over here I have that good angel voice, and over here I have that super awful voice, my ego, that tells me that I can't do things. You know, it's like that inner mean girl, that devil sitting on your shoulder, and it is what stops most of us from doing a lot of things on a day-to-day basis. It's what encourages us to go back to addictive habits, addictive behaviors, toxic behaviors, back to our comfort zones. It's what stops us from having success and joy and happiness. It's what causes us anxiety. It's what causes us depression. It's what causes worry. It's what causes feeling very stuck. So oftentimes this person, we'll say that's the one on the left, the girl on the left, right? Because this is the profile I like better, this side. I like this side better. And I'm gonna switch this, so hold on just a second so I could talk normally to you. That's better. So this is the right side. This is the good centered spiritual person that's living above here, that oversees all of this, not just over here like this side. This is my ego and, you know, your dark shadow, which you have to honor, like the yin and the yang. And you know what I'm here to talk to you about in my message is I've been coaching people for 10 years, and in their fitness, in their health, in their mindset, because I found out that mindset was a big deal. As I started coaching women over the past 10 years, I realized that so much about everything we do is in our minds, and it really is the deciding factor on whether we succeed or don't succeed, right? And our biggest regrets in life are oftentimes, people that are dying, oftentimes the regret of letting fear stop them from doing things. And you know, really, fear's that naysayer, you know, it's that mean girl, like I said in the beginning. And it's really, it comes from, you know, worrying about the future, worrying about the past, and all those limiting beliefs that either, you know, you learned or were conditioned into you from teachers, from mentors, from people that you've existed with, you know, that you've grown up with in your culture. In our society is a big one. And especially for women, I know that a lot of us, even myself, were conditioned growing up to have certain beliefs that, you know, you automatically just, you know, succumb to. And it was like these things, these limiting beliefs, which I've talked about, and you can watch my other videos on that. But that fear, you know, that fear of what people think, that fear of, like, you know, hiding yourself and making yourself small so you don't offend anybody. All of that fear is keeping you from being your most beautiful, authentic, most beautiful self, and really getting to the higher place, right? And not having all this light that's inside of you, this angel over here who really wants to break free and be herself. You know, she's cheering you on, which I like to say that, like, that person that, you know, we hide as that child that we were. You know, remember when you were little and you would wear a costume and whatever it was, and, you know, you would have walked into the grocery store proud as heck with that costume on and worn it for the whole week and felt like a superhero. And how many of you would do that today, right? A lot of you wouldn't, because you would be afraid of being, you know, somebody think that you were crazy, or somebody think that you were weird, or that people would think that it was just odd, or that's not what people do. But I'm here to tell you that if you want to dress up like Wonder Woman in your life, if whatever it is that you want to do, you need to honor what's in your soul and really break out of the mindset, because fear is keeping you stuck. And I want to read this quote that I have, and I don't want to make this video super long, but I think this was a good message. Oftentimes what I journal about in the mornings is a good message that I love to share, that I feel that was meant for me to be able to learn from, but also that I could come on here and teach you, because it's all about living your best life. It's all about, you know, every day choosing to be better, and every day choosing to take that negative person and flip it, you know, flick it. Just like if you had negative people in your life and people that were bringing you down, it's time to flick them, right? Flick them out of your life. And, you know, don't let that stop you for being the most awesome person that you could be and the most successful in whatever area of your life, whether it's in your relationship, whether it's in your career, whether it's in, goals that you have, on your own personal life. So, your fear is actually an indicator that you're being brave enough to challenge the status quo. So oftentimes I like to use fear as my guide. Fear is actually when I'm fearful of something, I have to look deep and I have to go, where's that fear coming from? Is anything really going to happen to me? What's the worst that can happen? Is that if I fail, I'm still going to go toward that goal, but I've just learned something that I wouldn't have known if I didn't try, right? So ambushing your fear, by going after that ferocious dream, do it anyway. I had to start waking up and realizing that the negative voice was always going to be there. The ego is always going to try to crush, that joy and that thinking and try to basically make you go through life on autopilot with all these subconscious thoughts and behaviors that we do until we mindfully start to really realize, oh, hello, this person over here is actually different than this person over here. I can choose the good, which is a lot harder than being in your comfort zone. It's uncomfortable to continuously, keep pushing forward into the unknown and doing things that are uncomfortable because, we let that self-doubt, we let all of that stop us. So I want to tell you to find your momentum in spite of your fear and do it freaking anyway. That video with Shia LaBeouf, he's like, just freaking do it. I'm telling you, 10 years ago, if I hadn't decided, I was scared of what people were going to say, and people did say stuff. I was scared of what people were going to think, when I posted, and were they really going to listen to me? And I sit here over 10 years later being able to create so much abundance because I've always continued to step out of my comfort zone. I had a fear of speaking. I've spoken in front of, thousands of people, 10,000 plus, almost 20,000 filled stadium I have spoken in front of. And it felt amazing to do it. Tell your fear to move out of the way and know that your prosperity will come. It will come to you when you're brave enough. That means that you're ready for it and the universe will give it to you. Do it. Find the courage, and do it anyway. Allow yourself to feel vulnerable and accept that this feeling of not having all the answers it's always going to be that way. We're always going to learn, but by learning and moving forward and taking that forward step, I've talked about this before, it empowers you, right? It actually gives you more courage, right? To keep moving forward. No matter how fearful you are, you really have to find the courage to try. Like I said, one of the most common regrets of people, dying is all the things that they didn't do, like spending more time with their family or choosing, to, instead of working 90 hours for somebody else, choosing to create a different life. They fell into the comfort zone, right? You got to make your dream. How big is your dream? What's your why? I like to talk to, the people I coach, and I always ask them, what's the reason behind what you want to do. And I'm just going to use fitness as an example because it's something everybody can relate to. When you wanted to lose 20 pounds, why? There's always a reason. Is it to feel better, to look better, to get healthier? Is it to fit into your wedding dress? Is it to put on a bikini because you're going on vacation? Is it to, look better, feel better, whatever it is? How big is that goal and how bad do you want it? Because the bigger that your dream is and the more that you actually really tune your mind into going after it and wanting it, the easier it is to have the courage to go after it, right? And the more success you have and the more you show up and the more that you have those daily little wins because you are showing up, the more easy it's going to be. And life gets better. Life gets better when you decide. I'm always going to be afraid, right? There's always going to be this little person here. Even myself, I'm going to share this little story before I finish up. But yesterday, I had one of those days. I'm human. And just because I get on here and I talk about all this stuff, it's reminders for myself because all of us as human beings, beautiful, soulful human beings, we all have the same issues. We all have the same fears. We all have, the light and the dark side. But what we need to do is learn how to honor both sides and, you know, honor how to pick apart what they actually are and where they're coming from. And your ultimate goal is to overcome that fear. And it doesn't mean you won't be fearful, but to overcome the fear and actually become, you know, like the flower watering your garden. And, you know, the flower had to rise up through the dirt. The lotus has to rise up through the mud to be able to blossom. It has to get through all that muck before life can be beautiful. So for life to be beautiful for you, and for life to be what you want the most and your best life, you have to be willing to look fear in the face and say, get the F away from me. Because I look at fear as, you know, face everything and rise, you know, instead of face everything and run, face it and rise, you know, and look at fear as like when I jumped out of an airplane for the first time, I was scared to death, right? I was scared to death. I always said I wanted to do it because I'm scared to death of it. Probably the, you know, I've swam in the water with sharks and I love it. But that was one thing for me, but I knew I was going to have to do it one day just to get over it, because it was something that super scared me. And you know what? The hardest part was taking that first step out of the airplane. And I've talked about this before, but it was amazing. And it opened up so much more for me. And it actually taught me a lesson, being up in that airplane, you know, minutes before it was time to jump out, and listening to this person on my shoulder trying to talk me out of it, right? Trying to get me to go back into the back of the plane and curl up in a ball and not do it at all, because it told me. I listened to it and I was mindful of what it was saying to me. And really, I told her to, you know, just shut the heck up, flicked it off my shoulder, and I stepped out of that plane. And it was one of the most amazing experiences that I've experienced. And every time I've chosen, and even if the outcome wasn't good, I've always gotten a lesson. You know, I've always learned a new lesson in life. I've learned something about myself. I've learned something that has made me more confident and able to have more experience and knowledge and wisdom to get through my life and to find my sweet spot and to find, you know, what's going to make me shine the best in life and have the most amazing life. Because after all, you only have one life. And so I'm going to get on here all the time and I'm going to give you tips to create that mindset, because I really do believe, you know, and I call myself, you know, like lifestyle guidance counselor. I am definitely a coach and will help you live your best life. So whatever you want to call me, I will inspire you, and I will show up every day to help you strengthen your mindset, to have a Wonder Woman mindset, to wake up like a superhero, and with grace, with confidence, and looking fear in the face and telling it to adios amigo, because, you know, we're not stopping. We got one life no matter what. We're to the moon, Alice, right? So that's my message today, and I hope you tune in to my next video. Go ahead and check out my IGT videos, and head over to hillaryplauche.com and check out the blog, because I've been posting a lot about getting rid of your self-limiting beliefs and fear and, you know, self-love and all of these things for me to get to where I have been in life, creating a successful 7-figure business on my own. Doing that took a lot of self-love, and it took a lot of looking at that negative, you know, person on my shoulder and telling her to shut the F up, because I got shit to do, right? This girl has to shine, and I feel better than I ever have in my life at 45, and it's all here, you guys. And if you're struggling with stepping out of your comfort zone, I tell you, take that step. And if you need help, that's me. So check out my website, hillaryplauche.com. I have a lot of freebies on there, and go on the blog and check out, you know, my last few blogs, because I really think that they can help you if this is something that you struggle with, even if it's not. I mean, most of us struggle with this every day. And like I said, I have to remind myself every single day to be mindful. And this is my reminder for you today. So have a great day. Peace out. It's a beautiful day. And you see my dog, she's always here. My other one's sleeping in the sun, but always here to help you. So feel free to drop me a DM, like and share, and please comment below and tell me hey, and tell me how much you like this video. Peace out.